A very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sports Check on this first Monday of December 2023. And it is a day when we're going to have what I'll call a very fast program. And it's going to be touching from base to base to base as we talk to champions and those who work with champions all around the country. Conversations around Sports Check, I'll be giving them to you briefly. But what is lined up in our newsroom today, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will launch the disbursement of the cash transfer to families affected by El Nino rains in Garissa and Tana River counties. That is happening today. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is going to be holding a briefing in Kisumu today, and also the inaugural Kenya National Union of Teachers National Elected Women Leaders Roundtable that is taking place at the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development offices. So those are our main news stories that we shall be looking at. And from the sporting side, let's get straightforward. Kenya has been hosting the Sekafa Under-18 Boys Championships in Kisumu and Kakamega counties. We'll be joined via Zoom from Kisumu by Yusuf Mosi, who's the competitions director of Sekafa, who's going to be joining us later via Zoom. Then we also have got the Secretary General of NOC, and speaking now, by the way, we're about, 235 days to the Paris Olympics? So what are the preparations and what is in stock, especially now that we saw the Kenya basketball team, the 3x3 women's team, get to the universal qualification round after winning the FIBA 3x3 Africa Cup in Cairo last night. So we shall also be speaking to them, and they will be joining us via Zoom from Cairo, Egypt, where they are, because they will be traveling back tomorrow. So let us get them in good time. Now, our conversation now this morning is going to start with swimming. And when we talk about swimming, it's being changed. Number one, a change of name. And number two, we won't get into what is very much politics, but also the competition side of it, because we have a Kenyan team that has traveled today. I'll be doing the introductions of our guests in a short while. But meanwhile, our sign language translator is Lucy Mwaura. Our hashtag is Sports Check. So let's talk about junior swimming in Kenya, because that's where the focus is for the federation that is there in place as they do that, Kenya Aquatics. And in studio, they've got this trophy that they were awarded when they finished. This is at the 8th Africa Aquatics Zone 3 Swimming Championships, took place from the 23rd to the 5th of November in Kigali. Kenya finished third, Tanzania were top, and Uganda were there. And for Aquatics Kenya, they say this is something to celebrate, given the story of the last 2 years. And in studio with me on my immediate left, I've got Collins Marigiri, Secretary, Kenya Aquatics. We have got to get used to this. Kenya Aquatics, formerly known as the Kenya Swimming Federation, but globally, it's now World Aquatics, Aquatics Africa, and that. And we've got Peter Mwangangi, who was the coach of the national team that won this trophy and brought it to the country. And they came back to the country last week. That's the story. And I'll start with you, Peter. Just a background, because we know competition for Kenya when it comes to swimming was a no-no. And this was from World Aquatics. We know there is a long story about the leadership of the federation. But what's the background that saw Kenya get back to competing?
First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to you hosting us today.
You're welcome.
And if I can take you back, we've had a lot of ups and downs as a federation, and which affected our swimmers not being able to participate internationally. But with the new office in place right now, we have seen our country, our athletes, getting back into the international platform. And from the result we had last week from Kigali, you can see that we are back, and we are back in a big way.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, just to mention is that the Stabilization Committee had to work with the government. It's composed of somebody from South Africa, the boss of Aquatics Uganda, and the NOC SG. How well has that gone, such that we can say we can now move forward?
I'd like to thank NOC and the Stabilization Committee for the work they have done to get swimming back into the international platform. And as you all know, basically we've had a tough time. And the Stabilization Committee goal was to ensure that our country gets back into the international platform. We, in conjunction with the National Olympic Committee, they had a roadmap. They have put in place a roadmap with the guidance of World Aquatics to ensure that the country gets back to where it's supposed to be in terms of ensuring that our athletes are well taken care of, our athletes are able to participate internationally, and actually we had been suspended. So the suspension is lifted, and as well later in the year, early in the year, we got banned. And you know what it means to have a ban? You know, that means it's so tough for the athletes, for the officials, even for the parents, actually. You know, the entire fraternity, swimming fraternity. And through the roadmap that the Stabilization Committee had in place, it led to Kenya having an election, which was actually overseen by the World Aquatics and with the Stabilization Committee, under the Stabilization Committee, and also the National Olympic Committee. And now the mantle was handed over to Kenya Aquatics to now run the federation as it's supposed to.
Okay, well, very well. And now let me talk to you, Peter. You know, as a coach, when that decision was made and you're told you can get back to this, because even for anyone who's an athlete, you know, trying to get back when there was a situation like that, it's hard to compel even a parent to have their child swim at competitive level. What was the impact of it?
First, as coaches, we took it very positive. First, because we've been training kids, all the athletes. You see a talent getting lost because of the years which have taken us to come back to the international forum again. First, parents were very happy. Even I, as a coach, I was very happy seeing our flag there again after swimming with suspended member federation, which is a very big shame. So for me, lifting that flag in Rwanda meant everything, and I was very grateful to see now Kenya getting back to where it was, and I'm quite sure within no time we are going to get on top again.
All right, the local scene, just tell us how this, how it was at that time and when it was announced that Kenya can now get back to competition.
Of course, within the country, the different counties or different associations which organize competitions at grassroots, it was taken very positively, given that now we were training kids, not knowing where we are heading, because there was no any sign of light at the end of the tunnel. At least you could see your training people are working very hard, but there was no that sure guarantee your swimmer or your athlete is going to make to the international platform. So it motivated parents, it also motivated us as coaches. Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about the process which you had to go through so that you could eventually select the team that went to Rwanda and performance: 9 gold, 28 silver, 23 bronze. What was the background of selecting this team?
Before the selection of the team, we had a national time trial, which is a level playing field for every athlete, and which we invited all the athletes from all over the world, because we have swimmers who actually live abroad in diaspora, and also we have our local swimmers. We had to create a level playing field for everyone. So first of all, we had our national time trial, which most of the swimmers actually graced the event and showcased their talent. And from there, we were able to now do a selection for the team that went to Kigali, and then the other team that was actually left this morning for Mauritius. So we were looking at their times. And also what we've done as a national federation right now is to have what we call the TS system, where swimmers are able to swim in different events in comparison to their abilities. So we're giving chances to all the athletes. We don't want the scenario where you're calling an athlete who are actually able to swim in the Olympics to come and take part in a regional event. So for us to be able to develop the teams, so we're starting from the regional level to Africa level, which is now continental, and then international, continental, and then the international, which is more of now the World Championships and the Olympics. So the team that went to Ghana Zone 3, it is equally a very strong team, which based on their times, based on the ability in different events, and also based on the age. Looking at what we had, the team we had in Kigali, we had swimmers from the age of 10. We are 10, 12 years. That is the foundation of swimming. So we develop, we have a good foundation. That means we'll be able to have swimmers to feed in to the top group, the national team that will be capable of swimming in the Olympics.
All right. Now, Peter, let me come to you because he's mentioned the tier system. And let me use, by the way, just before I go to Peter, Collins just mentioned this to me. The time trial, which pool did you use? Because in Kenya, we only have 150-meter pool proper.
Oh, we use Kasarani. Kasarani is actually an Olympic size pool and internationally accredited. Yeah, we use Kasarani.
Very good.
Yeah.
That was important because I know for most of the competitions you use 25-meter pools, local competitions.
Yeah, if we have long course events and short course events. So long course events we use the Kasarani, which is a 50-meter pool, and for the short course events we can take times from the county levels, because the counties also organize events, and most of the events from the county levels, unless it's a long course meet, they do on 25-meter pools.
All right. Yeah. So now let's talk about the tiers that he mentioned, Peter. Just let me use an example. 50-meter freestyle, which would be, the fastest events in swimming at global competition levels. How then do you place an athlete based on their times and capabilities? And are you using the Kenyan, using Kenya as one of the scenarios? Because, for example, one of those who's there, who's in the team, Haniel Kudwoli, did set a national record in Dubai. So, for example, where would you place him in that team? How do you classify those athletes now?
First, as my colleague here said, first I'll recommend the tier system, given that it's giving each and every athlete equal platform. And he has given you a very good example of a situation whereby we don't need to call a swimmer who has been taking part in those international meets, for example, like
Emily
Muteti, having done all those international meets to come and compete in Ghana Zone, whereby we have young and upcoming swimmers who are very vibrant and, of course, talented, and they can represent the country. So, in issue of Haniel Kudoli, placing him, we deeply rely on the times. For example, taking Haniel for Ghana Zone, whereby he's not going to get that vigorous or serious competition for his level, is not going to be very helpful. So for you to place him, you need those international or more competitive events whereby he's going to be pushed and challenged to get maximum output out of him.
Okay, let me just ask a question, because people would ask, why not take him there? Because he's you can be assured of a gold from him.
Okay,
because that is what a Kenyan will ask. Why not take him there and bring the medals?
Okay, now that's a good one. You can take him there, but what will be the essence of taking him there and not getting enough competition, whereby is going to end up harding time because there's nobody to push him hard enough to improve on his time.
Okay.
So you can take him there, get a gold, but with poor performance. You can get somebody who is very young there, upcoming, go compete, get competition of his or a level, improve on time, but still miss the gold, but at the end of the day has improved, because at the end of the day, it's not the gold, it's the time. Yeah.
So the message you're putting forward is basically that what you want, especially with these youngsters, it's not the number of medals they rack up, but it is an improvement.
Yeah.
Actually, to add on to what Coach Mwangangi said, we want to have more swimmers participating in the Olympics. Now, when you look at the event like a regional event, like Ghana Zone 3, it's not more of an Olympic qualifier. So we like to push Anil to go to an Olympic qualifier event. So that event will give him enough competition for him to make more progress to qualify for the Olympics. So it will not be good enough to just to give him an event where he can get a gold medal, but he has not made any times that will push him to the Olympic qualifier.
Sure.
For sure, like for example, right now, the team that is going to Mauritius, all these athletes have a chance to make it to the Olympics. Now, the most important thing is for them to push themselves and be able to get those times. Yes.
Let's talk about now the team that has traveled to Mauritius. This is the Olympic qualifiers Africa, and it's also a junior one. Let's talk about the junior competition first. Just give us a brief on that.
Pardon?
The junior competition, the Mauritius junior competition, then we'll talk about the Olympic one, the bigger one.
Oh, the junior competition, the Africa junior competition, is actually the biggest event, continental event, which comprises of athletes from the age of 14 to 18. And you know that is the prime time for most of our swimmers. And this event is very prestigious. It's an event that every single country in Africa takes it very seriously, and they all only feel actually their best. And at the moment, as Kenya has fielded its best, based on the top times, on the rankings, which we did in terms of the time selection. We had a criteria, and actually all these athletes have met the criteria, and we've selected the top athletes in all the age group, from the age of 14 all the way to 18. And we are looking at having one of the best results that this country has ever had since after the ban, which happened actually a few months ago. And we are looking for the best.
Now, just give us a background of, what paces you've got to take these athletes through as they prepare for a competition like this one, Peter.
Okay, first, what we usually do is, because most of the athletes come from different clubs and teams, we usually bring them together, organize form of something like team building. They get to know each other, get to interact with the coaches which they are the coaches they are traveling with. Then after that, we have a joint training, probably for a week or even more, depending on the nature of competition or the task at hand and the kind of preparation required. So after that, when doing the camp, you get to understand the behavior of the swimmers, their likes, and of course their likes and their dislikes. You interact, you get to understand them on one-on-one level as a coach. Then after that, we usually get to prepare relay teams there, even time them, check on the turns, those small aspects which might affect the overall team performance. Usually go through them, and then after that, we have one-on-one. They have one-on-one interactive session with the officials they are going to travel with. That is team manager, assistant coach, their chaperone. Then now everything is set to go.
Now, you mentioned about relays and the turns. Just give a background, because you can have a relay based on one specific event.
Sure.
you can say have the 50-meter freestyle, a relay on that. Then you've got one which involves the freestyle, the butterfly, the breaststroke, and the backstroke. Just how you prepare a team for such a one event?
First, for example, if it's freestyle, usually choose the fastest. If it's freestyle relay, then once it comes to medley relay, you have to go one by one because you have to get the best in butterfly, get best in breaststroke, get best in backstroke, and get best in freestyle. And that one is usually narrowed down to the times each swimmer has in the specific events they are going to be given. So that's how we allocate the relays.
Now, let's take a look at this side, the junior side. Just give us a highlight of some of these youngsters who are going in Mauritius.
The team that has gone to Mauritius, I'd like to highlight some of the events that have taken part in the last let's say 2 months in preparation for this event. You've seen we have had swimmers like Hanil, for example, performed really well in Dubai.
Yes.
Broke a national record, which had stood there for like 13 years in breaststroke. We have Johari. Johari is based in the UK. He's been training there. This guy has been phenomenal in terms of times. Every single event, he's been like shedding off a second or two. And we have Maria. We have Maria Bianchi. That she's been on top of things. We have basically Jamal, Bianca. Yeah, we have Akil, Nathan, all these swimmers. We have Angel Samoe. All these athletes, when they came to Kenya, actually during the national time trial, you see from the last time trial we had in May, the progress they have made. There's been phenomenal change in terms of the improvement, in terms of their times. And you could see even in terms of overall performance, overall performance in the strokes, in the technique, they have done tremendous change in them. And even in their fitness, because there's a lot that we're putting into an athlete for them to perform well. They have to put in a lot of time in land training, and fitness, looking at their nutrition. All of them, you can see they have done a lot. They've been in camps just to be ready for this event. So what they put in, actually we are looking at them coming out during this event.
Okay. Now you mentioned nutrition because you just put nutrition there. There's Phelps. One day spoke about his diet, the number of eggs you take in a day. A crate would be done in 3 days. What is the nutrition regime for a swimmer and that fitness regime, Peter?
Okay, first usually have a nutrition specialist. There are foods which are not allowed to take during or even before an event, and that one is usually more advised by the nutritionist.
What are some of the things that are not allowed? I know, for example, I know a football coach would not allow anyone to take chapati or meat.
Okay, on our side, what I am aware of is sodas. When you're expecting to do an event, you don't take sodas or those foods with sugar, high content of sugar. That one is a bit discouraged. Or fatty foods is not encouraged. I don't know the reason because I'm not a nutritionist, but
they should be telling you.
Yes,
because you're the coach. In fact, that's a challenge. Tell them. Tell me why.
Actually, the one about the sugar, I know. What happens if you take too much sugar, and you see swimming is a sport which depends on seconds, more on seconds and microseconds. And sugar, sometimes breaking down sugar needs a lot of oxygen, if I'm not wrong. So now, what happens, you'll need more oxygen affinity for that. And when you are swimming, remember, breathing is controlled. So that keeping on breathing and breathing every time, it will have a negative impact on your time. Because anytime you breathe, that's a second, either a second or microsecond added. So the more you take more sugar, the more that high oxygen affinity is required in your body. That then you'll end up breathing more, adding time then. Yeah.
Good.
Actually, it hampers the supply of oxygen to your muscles, because you need that oxygen, sufficient oxygen, to be able to, to swim well, into the muscle, to be able to kick, pull faster. But when you lack that oxygen, definitely that's where you find a swimmer now trying to go easy, breathing more, for them to be able to get that oxygen into the body.
Land training, because it's not everything is about water. How do you develop that power such that they can get the energy to push their resistance through water?
Okay, there are two aspects. You can choose to go to gym, or you can decide to do just normal workout, that is running. You can choose to run uphill, cycling, skipping also helps a lot. The jumpings, all of the jumping jacks, those are the ones which somebody can do without the guidance where required, because those ones you can do on your own, they are easy. Then there is that one for going to gym and getting a technician under you. Depending on the swimmer and the needs of the swimmer, usually exposed swimmer, depending on the event is taking. For example, you can't take a level 1 swimmer to gym.
Yes.
You can't take a level 1 swimmer to those high-end workout whatevers. So let's say, for example, you're waiting to do an international event, or you're waiting to do just a big event. Those ones, the event is going to narrow down the kind of workout or dry land training you require. Yeah.
The levels that is mentioned, just give us those grades.
Like Coach Mwangangi mentioned, core strength. Core strength is important for any swimmer, because when you have a stronger core, you're able to kick faster, you're able to hold your stroke, you're able to be more efficient in the pool. So if you have, for example, what he said, a young swimmer who is an upcoming swimmer, you ensure that what they do is more of body weight exercises. Body weight exercises to be able to, to build their muscles and to be strong, especially when if you have a flyer. Flyers need a lot of push-ups. You can do a lot of push-ups, you can do a lot of dips, where you don't need to use weights. Yeah. But when you go to 15 years and 16 years older, and those swimmers who have already specialized in their events, because we have, by the time the swimmers get to around 15, 16, some of them start specializing. Yeah, you find a flyer, we do a lot of exercises that involve their shoulders.
Upper body.
Yes.
So because you need a very strong upper body to be able to pull quite efficiently and faster in your fly and even in breaststroke. So those swimmers actually can go to the gym, but we advise them to go and to be under supervision, because like now at the moment in the structures of the Kenya Aquatics, we want to engage. We want to engage a core strength coach. Actually, I've had an opportunity to talk to one of them that I know who's been working very good with the national teams, in rugby, and I don't want to mention his name.
I'll mention his name. His name is Jeffrey Kimani.
Yeah, that's one of the guys. So, when we engage such a kind of coaches in your team, basically the team gets an all-round development in terms of, if it's a flyer, there's specific exercises they'll be able to do in the gym. You just don't go into the gym and just push weights, You just need to go and work on specific muscles that helps you in your stroke. If there's a breaststroker, the same. Backstroke, the same. And there is someone who's a freestyler, the same. But all in all of them need to have very strong legs. And also endurance. Like Coach Mwangangi mentioned, endurance is key as well. So that is why sometimes running comes in, cycling comes in, for them to be able to build the endurance.
Well, now let's talk about this, the senior athletes. These are the ones who are on course for Olympic qualification. Let's start with those who, may not have come down to, who may not have traveled down to Mauritius, but could be on course for an Olympic slot. Let's start there, Peter.
Pardon, I didn't get your question
Okay,
properly.
those who are, let's talk about Olympic qualification. We've got the African Championship
Sure.
in Mauritius, and there are those athletes who have been called up, to compete here. Are there those who may not have traveled down to Mauritius with their team, but have an opportunity through global competitions?
Yeah. There are those who made it and there are those who didn't make it because of various reasons. I find others having exams.
Yes.
Others have not been training hard because of various aspects. Maybe somebody has not been well. So those are factors we also consider. But if a swimmer or athlete doesn't have any underlying issues and has been training, the opportunity is always given equally.
Okay.
We have quite a number, and who actually had, for example, qualified for World Champs, from the last World Champs, and also from the time trials that we did in May and November. During the selection, we actually broke down the selection into three. The first one was for the Kana, the Africa nowadays is no longer Kana, but we call it Africa Aquatics Zone 3.
Zone 3.
Yeah, and the second selection was Africa Aquatics Junior Championships, and then there was a third selection, which was the World Champs. Okay. So we've already done the selection, and all this has been based on their highest world aquatic points. Highest world aquatic points.
Yes.
And so looking at the athletes that we have them in the ones who are going to Doha, which will be in the month of February from the 2nd to the 18th, we already have a team in place. And these are actually our senior swimmers from the age of 19 to 22 there. And they are actually working really hard in preparation for that event.
The names, because that's what people...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the names we have Emily, who is a very seasoned swimmer. We have Maria Brunlena. We have Maina Monyo. Yes, we have Maina Monyo. We have Talib Saleh. So that is a quota we've been given by the World Aquatics.
Those are the four.
Those are 4 athletes we'll be taking to the World Championship in Doha, okay, in the month of February.
The African Championships now, which now creates a pathway for Olympic qualification.
Yes.
Just take us through those events, and you could share the platform on the different events where the athletes are competing with the Riyadh, Ravage, Okech, somewhere, and all those, and the individual events, especially for those who specialize.
Like in the fly, we're looking at having Akil Mutinda. Akil Mutinda is one of the best flyers we have, and
flyers. He's it's the butterfly event. Yeah. Actually, you can use your arms to do a demonstration so that people get to know the difference between the butterfly and the breaststroke.
Yeah, fly. Actually, you're going with both hands, arms out, push back, and then when you come to the breaststroke, is there and pulling. That is a breaststroke. Freestyle is alternate arms. In the breaststroke and fly, it's simultaneous. Arms go simultaneously. Backstroke and freestyle is alternate arms. Yeah.
So you're basically, to use a simple term, rowing. But in the butterfly, you over.
Yes.
Over.
Get your hands over your head
over
and
your
push
head.
back.
Then push back with a single kick.
Single.
Yeah, together, legs together. Yeah. Then in breaststroke, it's arms.
Then you bring them back here.
Yes.
Very well. So let's continue.
Yeah, like in the fly, we're looking at Aki Mutinda doing a tremendous job because he has specialized in that event. This athlete went to the Commonwealth in Trinidad and Tobago. He posted wonderful times. He did a PB and actually even got a national record.
Yeah.
So then we're coming to the breaststroke. We're actually banking on Anil to break another record. Yeah. This athlete, during his event, when he swam in Dubai just this month, 2 weeks ago, I think, he did a wonderful job. And he's actually very focused. I talked to him in the morning today. I talked to all the athletes. They were boarding. Yeah. And they're all looking forward to, like, Coach, when we come back, we want to make sure we get an African record. And we break our national record, and as well as get an African record. So we have also swimmers like Maria
Bianchi,
yeah, she's also one of the powerful breaststroke we have on the girl side. We have Sarah Mose, freestyle. She's an amazing swimmer, always been making tremendous progress.
And Sarah was also in Trinidad.
Yeah,
right?
she also represented our country in Trinidad. And also we have Angel Samoe. She's a long distance swimmer. 800 meters, 400 meters.
1500.
Yeah, 1500, making so much progress. From the last time trial, these swimmers have been actually shedding off 2, 3, 4 seconds every meet. So we are very optimistic. We actually have so much faith in them, and looking at these swimmers bringing home. We won those medals come here. African Championship, we not had for the longest time Kenya winning a medal in the African Championship, but with this team that we have so much faith in them that they will bring a medal home.
Where's the competition coming from at the African Championship? Which are the nations we would look out for? You know, if you mention South Africa, that's straightforward. I mean, I think there's a multi-sport event where I covered, and I think all the gold went with all the gold medals went to the South Africans.
Yeah, we have South Africa. We have the host Mauritius. The host Mauritius being home, they have a big team. Actually, they have made sure they have fielded swimmers in every single event. Looking at Kenya, we have one of the biggest teams. Yeah, we have one of the biggest teams. This is the first time we have taken more than 20 athletes. We have 22 athletes taking part. In the past, we've had only less than 8 athletes. Most of the countries have less than 10 athletes. We have fielded athletes in every single event. So then we have the likes of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is very strong. A few years ago,
big team, almost 80.
A few years ago, we were in Zimbabwe for Kana Zone 3 and 4, and this team had 94.
They had 104.
Yeah, we had
104. Then followed by, is it Mozambique?
But what we're looking at this time, we want to ensure that we give them a run for their money. So Kenya has come big, and our swimmers are in top gear, looking forward for that event.
The specific events Kenya is participating in, because number 22 says that it's actually targeted.
We're taking part in for all the freestyles, from the 50, 100, 200, we have 400, we're doing 800 meters. Yeah, the same. Okay, when you come to the breaststroke, we have 50, 100, 200. On the fly, we have 50, 100, 200. And then we have the IM. The IM, we have the 200 meters IM.
IM
is an individual medley. Yes, individual medley.
Where you do all 4 events.
Yeah, all 4 events. And each of them is 50 meters. And then we have now the backstroke, the same as 50, 100, and also 200 meters. Yes. And also, we have open water. We are taking part, our team is taking part in open water. Yeah, we have 3 athletes taking part in an open water event.
Okay, good. Peter, just explain open water swimming and vis-a-vis what we've got here, because that's the other event that is that Mauritius is hosting.
Okay, from my experience, the first open water I did in Zambia. Open water, just from the term open, that means it's not in a pool setup. It can be either in a dam, ocean, or a lake. So in this case, I think it's going to be ocean.
The ocean, yes.
Yeah. So open water usually cover past 2,000 kilometers, isn't it? It can't be 1,500. So
2,000 meters.
Yes. 2,000 meters.
Hey,
sorry,
2,000 kilometers.
2,000 kilometers. 2,000 meters. So our swimmers will be participating in 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers. Yeah, 5 kilometers. We have, is it 3? 1 from Nairobi. I think the 2 are from Mombasa. The one from Nairobi is Mr. James Amor. Yeah, Mr. James Amor. So open water, what I can say is a bit challenging because first we've been training. Those in Mombasa have been training in ocean. The one in Nairobi, we've been taking them to the Karen. Waterfront Karen. Sometimes it's a dam somewhere in Kiambu. We train there. So it's a bit challenging, but being this is our second time. The first time we did in Zambia, at least our team won something. And
Where was the venue in Zambia? We know Zambia is landlocked for us.
it was a quarry. It was a big quarry whereby those guys blasted until it broke the water table, and then water filled the entire quarry. But it is safe. It doesn't have an inlet or outlet, so it's just a safe water, which doesn't have. There's no.
How do they keep it salt? Reduce the salinity. I mean, if it doesn't.
There's a procedure of treating it. It is usually done by the South African guys. Before we went there for swimming, it had been treated. Yeah, because it's a stagnant water. But it was quite impressive. Yeah.
Lessons learned from the Zambia tour, Peter. In open water swimming.
First, everything is possible. What you need to do is just start. The moment you ignite that fire of starting, sustaining is easy. The difficult part is starting. And from the reports we are getting now, given that now we are participating in the open water for the second time, is a good progress, because the first one, we just did it abruptly because we didn't have swimmers for open waters. So we were just asking the normal swimmers who were doing butterfly and other strokes, are you interested in open water? We can try it. So we ended up trying it in Zambia, and guys won. So that gave us at least a loophole. This thing is possible if we put attention in it. And now, the former Kenya Swimming Federation now is Kenya Aquatics.
Kenya Aquatics.
Which means it's going to involve all the disciplines, not swimming alone the way it was before. That means open water is there, diving, synchronized, and all water-related disciplines.
So where does water polo?
Yeah, it's there now.
It's there?
Yeah, it's coming up here. Yeah, and it's being given maximum attention. Very soon we are going to have a national water polo team. Yeah.
Because that is part of it. Because I'll be coming to these other sports and where Kenya gets to have them incorporated. The Olympic pathway, for a long time, Kenya has relied on the universality rule. So you are able to take one man and one woman to represent the country at that level. What's the pathway for Paris 2024?
We're looking at having more than 2 swimmers. And the Africa Junior Championships is one of the pathway that we are looking at, having our athletes get the times standard they're required to be able to participate in the Olympics. And if we, for example, get a B time, which is very, very possible from the crop of athletes we have right now, that gives our country an opportunity to have more athletes participating in the Olympics. So as a federation, like Kenya Aquatics, we are working on and helping the athletes who are right now heading to the Africa Junior Championship, and also those athletes who are will be taking part in the World Championships in Doha, to be able to supporting them in their progress and in their quests to get that B time. We can get a B time. I know A time is also something very possible, because with a B time, with an A time now, our country, we can take a larger number. No, we walk away from depending on universality, like something just be handed on to you because you're not able to achieve that. But it is our desire, it is our goal as a federation, Kenya Aquatics, to be able to have athletes who can achieve that time through merit, not just to being handed over to us.
Well, just to put it into context, and so that you give us, the Kenyan scenario, let me take a look at the women's 50 meters freestyle, and the qualification standard is 24.7 seconds. I'm referring to, the standard that has been set by the IOC. So the universality place this time round is 1. For the number of looking at those who've qualified so far, 2 Australians, 2 Chinese, the Dutch, 1 each there, And then the Olympic consideration time is 24.82. How much work is needed, for that consideration? That's a 50-meter freestyle.
Right now, looking at our athletes who are swimming the 50 meters free, they are getting a 26. We're not too far away from it. We need just a little more effort in terms of now maybe the facilities. Looking at the facility that most of these athletes have out there, it's out of this world, I've had a privilege to be out there, like when we were in the World Championship in Hungary, and looking at the facilities those athletes have vis-a-vis what we have. If we were in the position to have those kind of facilities and programs, we can easily achieve them. So at 26 and at 24 is not really far. That means maybe probably in terms of maybe the land training and a bit more. Some of these athletes are professionals, They get paid. They wake up in the morning and they're in the gym.
That's what they do.
And that's what they do for a living. But our athletes, most of them are students. They have to go to class, then swim probably once a day. And if they have an opportunity to go to the gym, maybe half an hour, 40 minutes. But if the structures change in a way that these athletes get more time in terms of their training, achieving a 24 will not be a big deal.
Oh. Well, let's talk, that's the men, so that you get the context. Let's talk about the men's 50-meter freestyle. Qualifying time, 21.96. That's the Olympic qualifying time. Olympic consideration, 22.07. That's a small margin, 0.11 of a second. Coach Peter, how do you get an athlete to be a 22.05 athlete?
First, there is no two about it. It's hard work. Concentrate on all the aspects the coach is telling you to do. Ensure you train, add enough, those land training, dry land training.
Okay, just hold that thoughts, Coach, so that you can think about that. But right now, we'd like to take a short break. And we would like to move over to Kisumu, where we have got an Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission briefing. And the story here is that they're issuing a press statement at Sunshine Villas, which is a public property recovered from grabbers located at Dunga area opposite the Yacht Club in Kisumu City. Let's listen in.
It is sitting on the main entrance of pipes that are feeding the water from the lake to serve over 300,000 people. When it was constructed, it was to serve at least only 50,000 population. But Kisumu City has expanded. All the time we had intended with Kewasco to expand this area and do a sewer line. But the area has been bottlenecked by narrowing of flow of water to the treatment plant, which means at the point when the water is supposed to enter the treatment plant, it is narrowed like a bottleneck. So enough water cannot flow. And if there's the damage, it means that we have to bring down part of the building to repair those damages. And for more expansion of pipes that we intend to do, the building is sitting on an area where environmentally the pipes are supposed to pass through. So we ask yourself one question. Do we need to leave the building here and we stop serving over 500,000 people who need this water? Or we need to leave the building here and the percentage of people who need water will suffer? So the building must just be brought down. Yeah, because initially we was advised not to construct the building here. There was an impunity. So we applaud the court. And the final message that this case sends to people, please stop impunity. Stop grabbing government property. Avoid get the union property, because it will be painful for us to bring down a building where we have spent millions. And you know very well you are not supposed to construct a building there. And anybody, if you acquired any land fraudulently, trace it back. And there's a hanging fraud in acquisition of government property, return it back. Please bring back the property and we can negotiate it out of court. Thank you. Oh. Later. Yeah.
Thank you, City Manager. As you've been informed by Balawanga, we successfully petitioned the court to revert the property that is behind us back to the people of Kenya. Now, this followed a protracted court battle which began by the developer suing the county government. In his claim, or in his petition to the court, he wanted to be declared the absolute owner of the space that is behind us, and to be allowed to enjoy the fruits of grabbing the space. When the case was filed, the county government of Kisumu drafted EACC, who by law, you are aware that it has a duty to protect government properties. So the commission sought to be enjoined in the case, and it was allowed, following which we filed a counterclaim. You know, a counterclaim is a suit against the person who is claiming something. We did investigations, and our investigations revealed that the area where the structure is standing is public land. We have legal documents to support that position, especially the development plan of the 1960s, which designates where we are as a corridor for water intake, a way leave for water pipeline. And even as that is not enough, the entire area, you can see structures, even a building next to us. This is water treatment area all the way to where you see the swamp and where you see the county assembly construction going on. So this is public land. And as you are aware, public land is land that belongs to all of us. All of you are shareholders in what...
And those are Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission officials who are speaking in Kisumu, and they have issued a statement at Sunshine Villas, which is a public property that was recovered from grabbers. It is located at Dunga area opposite the Yacht Club in Kisumu, and remember, that's a way leave for water services. So our team in Kisumu will be giving us that brief. Well, we get back to a conversation on swimming, and Coach Peter, basically we were talking about Olympic qualification, and the men's turning a Kenyan athlete into a 22:05 athlete such that they have Olympic consideration time.
Sure. Now, as I said earlier, changing that 22 to 21 is not that big work, given that the swimmer has to be willing to work, because most of these swimmers are grown-ups and they are past 18. So long as the swimmer is willing to give this and the coaches are availing themselves and the workout is there, it's not that big deal, and I'm quite sure we are going to achieve. The path is quite clear now. Yeah, we are going to have swimmers in Olympics for freestyle.
All right. So eventually there is something I have seen on your shirts. Kenya Aquatics, make waves, not excuses. Secretary,
absolutely.
As we close, just pass that message, and what is the future of swimming in Kenya, especially in counties where that event hasn't been, deep-rooted?
The future of swimming in Kenya is very bright. I can attest to this. On Saturday, I was in Wasingishu in Eldoret. There was a Mino-Meet. This Mino-Meet is actually the entry point of swimming, where we have athletes as young as 4 years, 5 years, taking part in a competition. And it was phenomenal watching those kids swim.
Good.
Seeing a 6-year-old doing 100 meters IM, Some of them, they're able to do butterfly right now. If we develop them from that age, this age right now, there's no reason why we won't have top swimmers in the next few years. So as our saying goes, you know, the logo, from our logo, let's make waves, not excuses. In the past, there have been a lot of excuses that we can't do this, we can't do that. But we have seen practically that we can do it. Practically, we can do it. Looking at every county right now, we have more than 9 counties who are registered, who have actually registered with the Registrar of Sports to be able to run the sport in their counties. And the goal of the National Federation right now, Kenya Aquatics, is to have 24 counties registered and running swimming. Not just registered, but activities happening.
Very well.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Collins Marigiri, Secretary General, Kenya Aquatics, and also he's a swimming coach. And we also have got Peter Mwangangi, who was coach of the junior team that was at the Africa Aquatics Zone 3 Championships in Kigali, Rwanda. And they did win this trophy. They were the second runners-up, 9 gold, the 28 silver medals, and 23 bronze. Those are the medals they won, plus this trophy. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Well, we'll be taking a short break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about 3x3 basketball and also more about Olympic qualification and also the CECAFA Under 18 Championships, plus Talanta Hela.
From the dawn of independence to the present day, Kenya has journeyed with strength and determination. We celebrate Kenya at 60. As we mark this incredible milestone, KBC and Jamboree present an unforgettable celebration of culture, music, and awareness. Immerse yourself in a musical journey featuring global sensations like the mighty Itals and Everton Blender, all the way from Kingston, Jamaica, alongside our incredible homegrown artists. But it's not just about the music. Join us for a day of cancer awareness and a fun-filled family day, including horse riding, bouncing castles for the kids, and a special tree planting exercise. Save the dates as we tour a county near you. Ticket information is available on our social media handles at Jamboree Festival KE. Join the celebration, feel the rhythm, and make memories that will last a lifetime. Happy birthday, Kenya.
Squeeze nakuona na president.
Squeeze nakuona tu na Obina, bro. What's going on?
The jail was like so horrible, you know. Just I reminded before the jail. There was have taken our shoes.
Makwendi home. Makundo form.
Kitle değişiyor, farkında olanları bu kültürü fark edip de
Ningelapna Kikamba lakini sinda nisijui Kikamba.
Kitu gani unaweza expect kwa maisha yako? Nani ananigonga gonga hivi? Na natoa touch sasa. Si unawekanga kwa kichwa, polisi nimeshikwa leo.
Ni vile umebarikiwa. Sijui kama wamekwambia huko nje.
Every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Catch the Chipukizi Show.
Like this, play the music again. stage is set for a showcase of young talents as Kenya hosts the Sekafa Under-18 Championship from the 25th of November to 8th of December in Kisumu and Kakamega. Kenya, Sudan, Rwanda, Somalia, Zanzibar, South Sudan and Uganda are battling for the title in the 2-week tournament. The group phase matches are scheduled 25th of November to 1st of December. Then the semi-finals will be played on 5th of December and the final on 8th of December, all in Kisumu. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
And a very good morning to you and welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 4th day of December. It's the first Monday of December 2023. Well, a conversation about swimming we've had, and also, we still have got some quick conversations. We're going to be talking basketball, the Olympic preparations and qualification structure that has been put in place, plus also the Sekafa Under-18 Boys Championship. So right now, let us start, with a conversation with the team that did win the FIBA 3x3 Africa Cup. We're talking about the basketball Lionesses. And let's get straight into a conversation. First of all, we've got Hilmi Ali who are with us. And Hilmi, a very good morning to you from Cairo. So that we can come to you. And also, we'll also be speaking with Ariel Ortega and Wanyama. Very good morning to you from Cairo.
Good morning. This is Ariel Ortega, captain of the men's national team. Good morning to you guys.
Well, Ariel, very interesting, how you're playing basketball, but you're actually named after an Argentine football star, name for one. But so
I blame my father for that.
Thank him for that. We know he loved his football. So let's talk about, your experiences out there where, you dropped at the quarterfinals. You lost 17-19 to Nigeria in the quarterfinals. Just give us your experiences in this event, which was part of the build-up towards the Paris Olympics.
The preparation for this tournament was good. We had a goal. Our goal was to win the Africa Cup, the 2023 Africa Cup, but we fell short. We lost in the quarterfinals to Nigeria in the overtime. We lost 17-19. So for us, we took it more of learning experience and a failure. We hope to learn from our mistakes, and hopefully next time we get the chance to represent Kenya at such a stage, we hope to put you guys in the mark.
Well, looking at the group phase, some quite some close calls when it comes to the matches, where you lose by point or maybe just two. Just develop that group phase field that was played on Friday and Saturday.
For the group stages, we played Benin and Madagascar and Morocco, and also Mali. So for us, we managed 2 wins, Mali and Morocco, but we lost against Benin and Madagascar. So for Madagascar, we lost 18-19, and Madagascar, they were the champions for last year. So for us, we took it as an opportunity to showcase what we had, and having lost by 1 point to the defending champions, for us, we took it as a motivation. It gave us motivation that we can actually beat any team in Africa. So that's what we headed to the game against Morocco, and we managed to win against Morocco, and that's how we qualified for the quarterfinals. So for us, having played the matches, we judged ourselves. We were able to see the areas we need to work on, especially closing out games. So if you notice, all our games, we either lost by 1 or 2 points. So we just need to have that last finish kick, and hopefully next time we'll have a good tournament.
Now, after the FIBA Africa 3x3 Cup, you could tell us what next for the 3x3 Morans?
So for the seniors men's national team, we had hoped that if we won, we would be able to participate in the Olympic qualifiers, but due to us getting knocked out in the quarterfinals, we're out of that contention. So probably the next event will be the same tournament, which is slated next year around the same time. So we have a whole year to prepare ourselves. We have a whole year to get ready, to get stronger, mentally tough, and hopefully next year, when you're back at this stage, we'll be able to do a better job than this time and be able to replicate what our ladies team, the Lioness, did.
And, you know, besides national team duty, we've seen that there's a huge growing interest in 3x3 basketball because, one, you know, it's a fast game. It's, you know, it really connects with people, like they would say, with the street. What are the avenues that are available for 3x3 players in Kenya?
So late in Kenya has really grown. We have tournaments coming up, such as the Red Bull tournament, which has happened 3 years this, since we started back in 2020. So the interest in 3x3 has really grown. We have tournaments in Nairobi, tournaments around Kenya. We have also the university games participating in 3x3. So I feel like the growth of the game, the publicity of the game has really grown. Guys are getting interested. Guys are willing to learn how to play the game because it's very different from 5-on-5. It's pretty fast. You only have 10 minutes and 4 players. So there are a couple of things that you need to learn as a basketball player, but I'm really happy that Kenya has taken up the task of, you know, building the game, building the 3x3 group. We have sponsors all over. We have major tournaments coming through. The government is really interested in building the 3x3 scene. So I believe in the next 2 years, Kenya will be a powerhouse when it comes to 3x3 because even the under-23 team, they really perform well when they go for such outings. So I feel like the game has really grown. Currently, the men are ranked 5th in Africa. The ladies are ranked 2nd. So such testaments just show how much the game has really grown and how much guys are willing to, you know, play the 3x3 game.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Ariel Ortega is the skipper of the men's 3x3 basketball team. So Ariel, maybe you could just get me in Hilmi Ali, who was the team manager. Hilmi Ali, because the team are together and they are just about to do that. Brian, you could just inform me when Hilmi comes in. And the reason we're having this conversation from Cairo is that Kenya's 3x3, women's basketball team, they won the FIBA Africa Cup last night and they defeated Egypt. And it was quite a dramatic one, 21-20. And that was played in Cairo. Hilmi Ali.
Hello.
Hilmi, a very good morning, Hilmi.
Good morning to you.
Well, first of all, you also serve as a team manager and also as, from the federation point of view. Just give us the feel that you have now that the women have qualified for the universality-driven Olympic qualifier event to take place in Japan in May.
Yeah, I'm so happy as a person. I'm so happy as a citizen of Kenya to achieve this great medal in Cairo. It has been a very long journey since 2016. We started with 3, and we have been coming for the African Cup, but we've been losing. But now we are so happy. My feeling is we have already qualified for the universality, qualified for the Olympics, and also for the World Cup direct ticket for the 2024. It's so nice to feel as a winner. The players around here are so happy. Everyone is so happy, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. And what we have decided as a technical team with the federation is this is the starting point. We are going back to the drawing board. We are starting from where we have left yesterday.
Well, I can actually go back almost a year and a half in time when you talk about the Commonwealth Games. And what were the lessons learned when the team played at the Commonwealth Games, and the kind of competition that comes at the highest level and the trajectory that they've now taken?
Yeah, the experience to go from the Commonwealth Games was good because we play with the highest level teams in the world, like Australia, UK, England, and Ireland. So what we learned from the Commonwealth is we need to prepare well, because this was we participate in this 3x3. They are skilled and they know what they are doing. They understand what time to do Europe and what time to do it. So as of now, we are also we understand the game well, and we are ready for any competition which is coming in front of us, and we know what we are supposed to do now.
Okay, now let's talk about preparing for the May event that's going to take place in Japan, which is the FIBA 3x3 universality-driven Olympic qualifier event. What's the plan to keep the 3x3 Lionesses active over the next 5 months?
Yeah, we are going to train. What we have planned for the ladies for the preparation of the universality is we are going back to the drawing board, sharpening our skills, but most importantly, it's their physique. We need to work on their physique well so that they become lean and strong, so that they can move very, very fast. This universality in Japan is going to be walked in a park, because most of the European countries, they are going to compete for the one ticket. I think it's four slots which have remained. So we must be in the middle bracket. So as per the preparation, we have to decide with the government and the federation and National Olympic Committee when will the ladies get in the camp, and so that we can start working on them seriously now, because now it's just one step away from the Olympics of 2024. So once we go back home, we are going to sit down and come up with a plan which will be very, very workable on our side.
Okay, now Hilmi, as you close, maybe you could give us, what the federation is planning to do to entrench 3x3 basketball in Kenya, and after that, you can call in Mercy Wanyama, who can speak for the 3x3 Lionesses.
As a federation, we agree in our AGM. Every month we are going to have one Saturday specific for 3x3 events at Nyayo. It will be part of preparation or part of country getting points. So that was agreed in the AGM. So far, we have not had one weekend in a month for 3x3 due to the 3x3 engagement of the U23, now the seniors. But as of January, everything has been set. Every month we're going to have one 3x3 event at Yao, Saturday and Sunday. Depending on we look at the interest. If the interest is so high, the attendance is so high, we can even go 2 events in a month. And Mercy Wanyama, I'm sorry, Mercy Wanyama she has already flied back to Europe. He has an engagement tomorrow. So I'm calling in Natalie, the captain of the national team lady. Yesterday.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is Hilmi Ali, who's a vice chair, Kenya Basketball Federation, and was team manager of the 3x3 basketball team. And joining us now is Natalie Akinyi, who is the skipper of the 3x3 women's basketball team, the 3x3 Lionesses, African champions. They won the FIBA Africa Cup, a 1-point win, 21-20 against Egypt last night. Natalie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
First of all, congratulations. First of all, just take us through the final. When you're trailing by 1 point and you have to go outside of the arch, try get the 2 points and win it.
Pardon?
Okay, Natalie, just, take us through that final against Egypt, where you won, eventually 21-20, winning by a point, thin margins in that game.
Yeah, for the game 3, it's the first game gets 21. And 1 minute towards the end of the game, we were down by 7 points. So we all each other decided what we need to do is just to shoot and play defense. Deny them the 21. And when we shoot, we make it to convert. And that's what happened. Then the last 3 seconds were the possession. And it happened that I was the one with the last option. I just had people shouting, shoot. And I was really open. But I had seen on the clock that we were 19 and 80%. And it just happened the short stroke. And that's why we won 21.
Well, 21, that's the magic score when it comes to 3x3 basketball. But let's also talk about, the group phase. Just take us through the matches, because from what we watched and we saw is that there's a growth by the teams on the continent. Your experience at the group phase, Friday and Saturday?
The group stages were tough because teams, compared to the previous tournament, teams have been stepping up their game. And first, it was for us to be the top of our pool, for us to have a direct slot in the table. And it was not that easy, especially playing Madagascar, who the previous tournament was the finalists in our pool. And we won by, I think we won by half a match. I think we won by 2 points or something. It wasn't easy. And teams are hard in Africa. So we had to bring it 100%. And most of all, hard.
Okay.
And playing for the flag.
Now, the preparations now, because you're now Japan bound for the universality driven Olympic qualifier. How do you make sure that you keep competitive, because everything shows that the skill level and the sharpness of every team at global competition is growing?
It's all about training and having more time together, because when we came to Egypt, we had not trained more together. But if we had a month together or 2-3 weeks together, there'll be a very big difference.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Natalie Akinyi, and congratulations on winning the FIBA 3x3 Africa Cup.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that is the Kenyan basketball team. They were speaking to us from Cairo. Well, last night the women won the 3x3 FIBA Africa Cup. Congratulations to them. Well, mentioned earlier that it's going to be a quick one. And right now, let's just move to the Nyayo National Stadium, where we have got the Talanta Hela under-19 Grand National Finals. This is in between counties, and our reporter at the Nyayo National Stadium, who is on standby, is Sela Onyango. Sela, just give us a brief on the tournament after we saw the first 2 matches played yesterday. Busia getting their win over Kakamega in the girls competition, and Vihiga defeating Homa Bay in the boys competition.
Mic check.
Well, our reporter is Sela Onyango.
Hello, Wahome. I'm coming to you live from Nyayo National Stadium, where the 2023 Talanta Hela Under-19 Inter-County Football Tournament Grand National Finals are taking place. The event started yesterday by the CS Ababu Namwamba calling it on yesterday, and the tournament is ongoing. As you can see now, Kericho Kericho boys are there battling with Garissa, and Kericho have won 3-0 in their first match of the tournament. Yesterday we had the first match where Kakamega ladies thrashed where Busia ladies thrashed Kakamega ladies 4-0 in their opening match of the tournament, and the Vihiga boys thrashed Homa Bay County boys 5-2 in the opening match of the tournament. Today we have some lineups lined up for you. Kisumu ladies will be battling the ladies from Nairobi here after the match between Garissa and Kericho match. And here I am being joined by the captain of Kakamega. Thank you. You will tell us your name and you tell us how the tournament has been for you.
First I started my name. Kwa majina ni Lona Faith Wasike, captain wa Busia. Jana tumekuwa na mechi sisi na Kakamega, tumecheza vizuri. Tuliwachapa 4-0. Ni Mungu tu na bidii yetu.
And now, if I may ask you, where do you want to see yourself in the end of the tournament, now that you are the leading team in Pool A in the ladies category?
Mimi kama captain na timu yangu, tungeomba sana tupatane finali, tuchukue 5 million na trophy.
And maybe in future, where do you want to see yourself as a captain?
Mimi kwanza nataka nitwe call up ya national team, niweze kuwa captain huko, na nikimaliza shule nataka kuwa professional footballer playing in US.
Thank you so much. If you have heard the ladies, this is the captain for Busia ladies. She wants to earn her call up in the national team for the ladies tournament. And again, we have the goal scorer, Diana. She scored 2 goals yesterday in the game against Kakamega girls. Let us know how was the match yesterday, and you managed to score 2 goals. Tell us how the tournament was.
Jana game ilikuwa poa, tulijituma, bidii, Mungu, tukafuata instruction ya coaches, nilifanya tukawin, na hiyo passion pia na confidence nilifanya nikafunga hizo bao 2.
And now maybe if you tell us, where do you want to see yourself after the tournament and maybe in the future?
After the tournament, ningependa hiyo call up ya under 18 na 19 tuitwe huko, tujitume, na pia uko tutatia bidii, na pia coach building na jua mali yako pia anajua vile pia atatuangalia, tutajituma. Yeah.
And some of the challenges you faced from Busia coming to Kisumu in the tournament?
Ilikuwa ngumu sana juu hiyo kutravel kuka kwa gari, alafu tena tufike hapa turudi hiyo bila hiyo 5 million na kikombe itakuwa uchungu sana. Sasa lazima tujitume na tufanye kila kitu yenye tutafanya ndio tube.
Thank you so much, ladies, and I wish you all the best in your upcoming game. Tomorrow they are playing against Nandi at Kasarani Annex. Again, Wahome, I'm being joined by the coach of Kisumu ladies team who are going to play now against Nairobi coach. Coach Karibu, welcome to KBC Channel 1, and tell us, what do you expect in today's match?
First of all, my name is Crispin Odindo, the coach of Kisumu County Ladies. Today's match is having a lot of expectations from our side because we are prepared well and we know God will be on our side. We hope that we shall be able to become victorious at the end of this match.
Thank you so much, coach, and we wish you all the best in your match against Nairobi All-Stars. Thank you, Karibu sana. Thank you, Wahome. That is the coach for Kisumu ladies. They are going to play against Nairobi ladies at the end of this match against Kericho and Garissa. Another match is lined up for you today. Here is that Samburu will be meeting Nyeri at 3 in the afternoon. Thank you so much, Daniel Wahome. From me at Nyayo Stadium, I'm Sela Onyango.
Onyango, she is at the Nyayo National Stadium, the Talanta Hela in under-19 inter-county football tournament grand national finals while taking place. Nyayo National Stadium is one of the venue. On Ngong Road, we've got Jamhuri 1, 2, and 4, and also we've got Kasarani, the annex, and also the main venue. Sela is going to be a reporter till the finals are played on the 12th of December, and there's 5 million shillings up for grabs in prize money. Well, we continue with our conversations, and let's talk about preparations for the Olympics. It is 235 days to the Paris Olympics 2024, and the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, they have been doing preparation work, and one of the things that has happened is that they were in France, and this is part of the delegation to just see what the facilities are and give feedback, especially to those who are going to be coaching, and also the training facilities at Miramar. We're joined by the Secretary General of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, Francis Mutuku via Zoom in Nairobi. A very good morning to you, SG.
Good morning, Wahome. Good morning, everyone who is viewing now.
Well, actually, I'm supposed to. I'm sure by now you're speaking a lot of French, so I should have said bonjour. But let's start with this. Together with NOC President, Dr. Tergat, you and yourself and Chef de Mission, Mr. Maluki, you were at the you were in Paris, and this was just to get the background information for the games preparations. Just take us through that.
Thank you. Yes, we had what we call the Paris 2024 lead management team visit Paris and the city of Miramar last week. The objective of going to Paris is to see the facilities and to see the level of preparedness, not so much to judge their performance, but so much for us to be able to work our logistics. We've learned that just like most event planners, if you have to go somewhere and to do any activity, making an advance visit helps a lot. And our advance visit was to determine the requirements, to be able to see how the facilities look like so that we can be able to work on how our utilization will be, to work on the logistics from one venue, for example, the village, to the different competition venues, how much time it will take through the different means, either by train, by bus, or by private cars, to be able to see what are our specific requirements as a country, especially when our athletes are at the village, when they are at the competition venues, and when they are at different areas. And because Paris 2024 will be using a lot of what we call open areas. Open areas is which are ordinarily public places, but they're going to set up for competition. So that was very important for us to see how the structure and how they'll be put so that we can be able to plan everything around our athletes. That was our purpose. Second objective was to have meetings. As you all know, Paris 2024 as a big team preparing. There are different, numerous departments. So we went to our meetings with the specific areas. Some of the ones which would be of interest is on the logistics, on the transport, and a very critical one for us was on the department on visa support, on the transportation, on the accommodation, on the ticketing, and most importantly, on the technical area to be able to make assessment in terms of how many athletes are within the system. As you all know, the accreditation system opened on 27 November this year, and therefore we are able to start looking at the number of athletes already who we can be able to put in the system. Wahome.
Well, very interesting that you mentioned about logistics. And I think from previous Olympic Games, it's always been said that there are some events that are going to be won by team managers, basically on their planning. What particular, for example, sport would you say, if we were to speak about where the village will be and say where, at least I can speak specifically, rugby sevens will be, such that the TM already knows, whoever is going to be appointed TM, or actually the federation already knows that this is how they should work around their timing, their planning and their timing?
Yes, we're able to look at the venue for rugby vis-a-vis the village and be able to work out how much time it will take through the different means of travel. So I could mention one, rugby, number two, athletics, and I'm mentioning the two because it will be more or less the same venue which will be utilized. Number three, it's boxing. Boxing for the preliminaries will be using one particular venues, and then for the semifinals and finals, it will be a multi-use facility that will be using what is ordinarily the tennis place, that is Rolando Garros, where French Open is played. So at the beginning, they'll be playing at a different facility. Then later for the semi-finals and finals, they'll be able to play. The other one, which was critical for us, was to see the start and finish of the marathon, because again, this is one which will be within an open area. The finish of the marathon will be at a public area where they are setting up the bleachers for where people will sit, and not as a stadium as ordinarily done. And as you all know, the big feature of the Olympics next year will be the opening ceremony. That will be along a 7-kilometer stretch of the river. So even having a practical experience of going down the river and seeing what it will mean for the athletes, those are some of the logistical items we're able to check. And you mentioned in terms of the team managers, this was the management team visit. We intend to plan another one towards the end of March or April, which we will call a technical meeting. Technical meeting will be specific team managers, maybe even one or two coaches, to go and make an analysis. Why we are leaving it for that time is because by end of March, we should be at a very good place to know which teams will have qualified for Olympics. And that way we can be able to work a much wider program to include all the teams. When they are not individually represented by their team managers, we can have some managers, the general team manager, looking at an overall perspective of the different teams. Wahome.
All right, now let's talk about the training camp in Miramas, because that's another area which everyone's got to make an update about. Just a brief on how that is working. We know Athletics Kenya has a strong partnership with them, especially when it comes to the youngsters and in the sprints, and the other sports that would be headed to Miramas at that point.
Miramas City is in partnership with the National Olympic Committee towards what is known as Pre-Olympics Camp. Pre-Olympics Camp is where our athletes go several days or several weeks before they move to the village for participation. This time we extended that partnership to be beyond Olympics, to be for teams which are preparing for qualification. So we've already sent 2 teams. Taekwondo women went to train in Miramas 2 months ago. We also had Priscilla Buru of Kenya Sports Shooting going to train before the Africa Championship, which was in August. And this was a trial to see how they'll experience it, how they'll feel, whether it works, and which areas will be able to improve on. And from that initial engagement, we went back not only to see what facilities are there, but to be able to review the experience of the athletes, and we're able to change a few items. So what we are looking at in terms of Miramas is the accommodation area, that it is suitable, it is comfortable, and the menu which is provided is as close as possible to what the athletes are used to. As you all know, in the Olympic Village, the menu caters for all different continents, and therefore there we are comfortable. But for Miramas, we needed to be specific that the menu which is being provided is appropriate for our athletes. Secondly, is to look at the facilities in anticipation of the different teams which will be qualifying. We were glad to note that for athletics, they have laid a new tartan in the area which they'll be expecting our team to train. We've got a place for rugby. We've got a place for volleyball. Those are the teams which are qualified. We're able to see the facility which will be provided for the martial arts, from taekwondo, judo, wrestling, in anticipation of qualification, and also the area where the boxing team will be training. And then to work out with some of the technical coaches who will be available to support our team, and the possibility of some of the technical people arranging some practice matches while our teams are in training. This will continue doing, and we are also planning to send 1 or 2 teams in March to prepare for their qualification. Some of the teams who are strongly trying to qualify for Olympics, the teams will give priority to go and try out these facilities to be able to be ready for the Olympics.
Well, let's now talk about the teams qualified. Shuja, we know that. At least we know their program. They're also going to be participating in the Challenger Series. So that is it. For the Malkia Strikers, we can see where they are in terms of the rankings and all of that. So the confirmation expected sometime mid next year. But how do you keep, for example, the Malkia strikers active at global level so that they can rack up the points?
Yes. Just talking about the ones who have qualified, as you mentioned, Malkia strikers, we've already made the call because they have technically qualified. Just for our viewers to understand that this time volleyball qualification will be based on ranking. By the time the ranking opportunity is closed, which will be towards the month of April. However, we know that within the African continent, our African teams do not have an opportunity to go and play and earn more points. And therefore, by the last tournament, which was played in Cameroon, where Kenya won, then we were able to amass enough points to comfortably be at the top without any possibility of any other country coming close or even passing. And that's why we are preparing Malkia strikers as if they have qualified, even as you wait for the final confirmation. The second one which has qualified is our men's rugby team, the Shujaa. And again, we are working with the union to have a program of preparation. We were happy yesterday that our basketball ladies, 3x3, were able to win the Africa Cup, and this gives them an opportunity to play 2 events next year to have a chance of qualifying. This will be the World Qualifiers, which will be Olympic qualification matches. We also have our women's rugby team who have another chance to go and play in the repechage next year around March. Those will be the teams which have an opportunity. December, the Kenya Volleyball Federation will be hosting the beach volleyball competition for the zone. We hope and look forward to our team doing very well and qualifying for the Continental Challenge, where if they win, they'll be able to qualify. Individual sports, a lot of them, starting with athletics, we have a number of athletes who have already met the required time. Later in June, we'll be having the trials to select the final team. And the reason we do trials for athletics is that we have quite a number of athletes who make the qualification time. For example, you might have one event where we have more than 10 athletes, and they're only required to enter a maximum of 3, and that's where the trials comes in. While we are working on that, we have more athletes who are working. We have a scheduled meeting later this month with Athletics Kenya to see what program we can put in place for both the sprinters, who this time we want to make a strong push for their participation, and our initial middle to long distance athletes, how much they can be able to prepare well in advance, even before the trials. Other individual sports like martial arts, racket sports, swimming, and other aquatic sports, we expect they continue having an opportunity between now and next year in April to be able to qualify. For swimming, we know the best chance we'll have is at a universality place, where we'll have 1 male and 1 female based on their World Aquatics swimming times to be able to participate. The rest have to do the work in these last few months, and our expectation, our hope and prayers is that we'll have more athletes qualifying. Wahome.
All right. Now, finally, the African Games. So much being said, so little, but they did respond. It's actually one of the pathways for the qualification for Paris. The plan for the African Games so far, and what Ghana has said, after word was spreading around that the Games could go bust.
Based on the confirmation of Ghana, we expect that the event will proceed, which will be very good. In terms of the event being an Olympic qualifier for very many events, we are losing those opportunities by the day. And the reason is the timing of the Continental Championship is so close to the Olympics that a lot of international federations and confederations are looking at alternative competitions for their qualification. So we do not know how much more will be left by the time we have the games next year. But our prayer is that as many as possible will be able to have the qualification events, because that is our best chance as a country to be able to put athletes and have qualification time. For the other continental bodies which are working on alternative events, we are closely monitoring in liaison with our federation to ensure that our athletes get that opportunity, go and compete, and hopefully get the qualification points, even as a way to participate in the African Games. Either way, it will be good. If it's a qualifier, our athletes will get a chance to be able to qualify. If it's not a qualifier, our athletes will get a chance to go and compete and get one of the preparatory matches ahead of the Olympics.
All right, thank you very much. Secretary General Francis Mutuku is of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, and we'll keep having these conversations even as we come down to the Paris Olympics next year. Thank you very much, Bwana Mutuku. Well, now moving on, and we go to Kisumu. You know, for the last week and a half, KBC has been broadcasting the CECAFA Under-18 Boys Championship. Those matches have been played in Kisumu and Kakamega, and we've seen the crowds drawn, and we've seen some brilliant football coming in from the Under-18 boys. And to speak about this competition, we have got the competition director of CECAFA. His name is Yusuf Mosi. Yusuf, a good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
All right, thank you for joining us this morning. I know, the first thing that I'd like, to talk about is what the 3 group matches, have brought out for you and the observations you've made about, this level of under-18 football from the 8 participating nations.
Yes, in our program, CECAFA, for this year, we had 2 development programs, especially for under-15 and under-18. And those competitions we are preparing for next year. Our AFCON qualifies under-17 and under-20. Last month, it was in Uganda with the under-15, preparing for under-17 next year. And here in Kenya, Kisumu and Kakamega, we prepared for under-20 in next year. That is our new policy to develop our kids 1 year before the AFCON qualifies.
Let's talk about the quality of football that we have seen. Let's start with Group B, where we had, Tanzania, Zanzibar, Uganda, and South Sudan.
Yes. When we were in Uganda, we organized a draw. A draw is a draw. And the result was with 4 best team of our zone actually. Means Uganda, Tanzania, Zanzibar, and South Sudan. All of them, they are strong. And we said, this is good opportunity for you to prepare a good team for next. We'll see if this player is able to play for next AFCON qualifies. And it was a good opportunity for them to make good training. With 3 games, you can see if you bring around 23 people, 23 players, you can see, you can choose a good team from them. You have, I think, a good show for you, and it can help you next year to prepare your AFCON qualifies. And there you have seen even in the standing during the group stage, it was very tricky because all teams, the 4 teams, they won 1 game. Means at the end, for us, it was difficult to see who will pass, who will be first, and who will be second. It was very, very difficult for us. I remember I'm in CECAFA since 1999. This is my second time to see results like this. To see all teams before the last day to have the same points and same goals and the difference and even same cards. For me, it's the second time. Means it was, I'm telling you, good entertainment for those teams and good preparation. For us, it was very difficult. Now, I think we hope next year we shall have good teams who will represent our zone in AFCON qualifiers.
Well, you mentioned about the second time that you're having to do the fair play decision. And how tough is it when it comes to doing something like this where Tanzania and Zanzibar, they had to, the heart of one team had to be broken because of the fair play decision, or if they were tied on fair play, the toss of a coin?
Yes, because the regulation is clear. It was delivered to all teams before. It was delivered with all criteria, which way to follow to determine the second team. And we checked the criteria number one, which was the head-to-head between the two teams, because Tanzania and Zanzibar, all of them, they were tied regarding the point, regarding the criteria of head-to-head, regarding goals scored, regarding goal difference, and the fourth criteria was the fair play. And the fair play, what it's saying, we had just to look about cards. And after the group stage, Tanzania accumulated 4 cards, and Zanzibar 5 cards. That is normal. Tanzania with 4 cards, they are going through because they have a small number. That is the criteria what we have used during to determine the second team who will be with Uganda.
Well, now let's talk about Group A. A goal fest from Kenya scoring 10 goals, conceding 1, but also great shows coming in from Somalia. We saw a great show coming in also from Sudan and Uganda. How would you, basically explain the quality of football at the group phase in Group A?
No, for me, Kenya, they have good team. They have young team, talented team, especially they are playing good football, especially in the midfield, and very fast also. I think they can succeed. They can succeed. They have good team. But Rwanda also, they are trying. Somalia, they have some weaknesses about their playing system. I think they have something to improve in the future. But Sudan, they are in trouble now. They prepared just for 2 weeks. It was not enough preparation and to deliver good football in this tournament.
Now, the other thing that I'd like to talk about is what has been your reaction to the crowd turnout at Bukhungu and also at the Jomo Kenyatta Stadium? Because we know we've got the semi-finals tomorrow, and how you would want to see that tournament have good color on the stands.
Come again.
All right, let me repeat this. Fan attendance at this championship.
Yes.
It has been, what is your assessment of it in Kisumu and in Kakamega?
Let me tell you, if I compare the two venues, for me, Kakamega was the best with good attendance we saw during the Kenya game. Even during the opening ceremony in Kakamega, we had good crowd. I think if they could finish this stadium, the stadium will be full. They have good attendance. Even here, it's not bad. it's not bad, but it's not like Kakamega.
Well,
but in generally, we have good attendance. We are satisfied as a CECAFA organizing committee.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the semi-finals tomorrow. Uganda playing against Rwanda and Kenya against Tanzania. How tight are these matches?
Our plan is, here, you see the weather also. Sometimes it's very complicated. Maybe afternoon we shall have rain. That's the reason we said, okay, let us plan our game number 1 at 11. The kickoff will be at 11. Maybe we'll have extra time, we don't know. And at 2:30, we start the game number 2 to avoid the rain and to have good entertainment on the pitch. We'll have 2 good games, good games, and now we are ready. We have our meeting to prepare this afternoon to prepare everything, and we hope we shall have 2 good semi-finals, and we welcome also the fans, spectators from Kisumu, and I know Kenya is playing, the stadium will be full. And we want now to organize everything, to put maximum security, and to have a good officiating regarding the referees and the other match officials. And I hope we shall have good semi-finals.
So just for clarity, is that Uganda versus Rwanda is at 11 a.m., Kenya versus Tanzania 2:30 p.m. probably?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much, Yusuf Mosi. He's a competitions director at CECAFA. And as a closing word, CD, what is the plan now for CECAFA to engage more in this development football, such that the region can have a national team, say, lifting the Africa Cup of Nations? I can only the last CECAFA teams to do so was Sudan and Ethiopia, but you'd have to go back 60 years.
Yeah, our plan now is we have 1 team, CECAFA team, Tanzania will be there, but now we are focusing for next AFCON. That's the reason now we want to put more efforts. From January, the headquarters, the CECAFA headquarters here in Nairobi, will work 100% with the complete staff, means to help different federations to implement the development program and to increase the level of our football in our zone. And we hope we shall do like in 2019 and to have more than 4 teams in AFCON final stage.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yusuf Mosi, Competitions Director at CECAFA, which is a regional governing body. And remember, tomorrow on KBC Channel 1 and also live on Y254, we shall broadcast the semi-finals of the Under-18 Boys Championship. Uganda will be playing against Rwanda. That's at 11 a.m., 2:30 p.m. This is on Y254. It's Kenya who will be playing against Tanzania and also being broadcast on Pwani FM. We've got Kitwek FM. We also have got the broadcasts on Mayenga FM and Ingo FM. So those are the stations that will be broadcasting that championship. Well, so there it is, and that's our conversation for today's Sports Check, where we've spoken swimming, we've spoken basketball, we've spoken football, and also Olympic Games preparations. So at the moment, well, what's lined up next? We've got our Swahili News Bulletin, Kurunzi Mashinani, and after that, we're going to have our interview segment. Tamrini Kastianabed is going to be coming in to take you through that program. My name is Daniel Wahome, and thank you for being with us. Our sign language interpreter has been Lensa Odingo. For me, have a good day.